Listen, I'm going to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable, but you need to hear it. Success don't come to people who sit around waiting for the perfect moment. It comes to people who force themselves to take action, day by day, step by step, even when they don't feel like it. Success requires action, not waiting. Too many people sit around waiting for the perfect moment, the right opportunity, or some magical sign that tells them it's time to move. The truth is that moment will never come on its own. There is no perfect time, no flawless plan, and no guaranteed outcome. The only way to get closer to your goals is to take action even when you don't feel ready. People often think that success is about talent, luck, or having the right connections. While those things can play a role, they are not the deciding factors. The real difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. One group takes action, the other group waits. Waiting is easy, it's comfortable, it gives you an excuse to do nothing while convincing yourself that you're just being patient. But patience without effort is just procrastination in disguise. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people stay stuck in the waiting phase. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. But fear doesn't go away on its own. The only way to get past it is to move forward despite it. Every successful person has faced fear, doubt, and uncertainty. But they didn't let those feelings stop them. They understood that action is the antidote to fear. The moment you take that first step, fear starts to lose its grip. The more you move, the more confidence you build, and eventually, fear no longer controls you. Another trap people fall into is overthinking. They analyze every detail, consider every possible outcome, and try to predict the future before they even begin. While planning is important, over-planning can become a form of self-sabotage. The truth is, you will never have all the answers before you start. Some lessons can only be learned through experience. Instead of waiting for the perfect plan, start with what you know and adjust along the way. The most successful people don't have all the answers when they begin. They figure things out as they go. Taking action doesn't mean making huge, dramatic changes overnight. It's about consistently doing the small things that move you forward. Success is built through daily habits, not one-time efforts. A small step today leads to another step tomorrow, and before you know it, you've built momentum. But if you keep waiting, nothing happens. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and before you realize it, another year has passed with no progress. Many people look at successful individuals and think they must have had some advantage, some special opportunity that made everything easier for them. But if you study their stories, you'll see a pattern. Every single one of them took action long before they felt ready. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for conditions to be perfect. They started with what they had where they were and figured it out along the way. That's the mindset that creates success. The moment you decide to take action, you separate yourself from the majority. Most people live their entire lives talking about what they're going to do someday. They have big dreams, but never take the steps to turn them into reality. And as time goes on, they look back with regret, wondering what could have been. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't isn't intelligence, background, or resources. It's the willingness to take action despite uncertainty. Nobody is going to do it for you. Nobody is coming to push you, motivate you, or hand you success on a silver platter. It's on you to get up, take the first step, and keep going, even when it's hard. Dreams without action are just wishes. Everybody has dreams. Everybody has that vision in their mind of what they want their life to look like. The problem is, most people never take the steps necessary to make those dreams a reality. They talk about what they want, they imagine how great it would be, but when it comes time to actually do something, they hesitate. They convince themselves that someday they'll get to it, but someday never comes. Dreams that stay in your head don't change your life. It's the action behind them that does. People love the idea of success, but they don't always love the process. They want the reward without the effort. They want the lifestyle without the work. They want to be great, but they don't want to go through the struggle that greatness requires. That's why so many people settle for wishing. Wishing feels good in the moment. It gives you the illusion of progress without having to take any real risk. But wishing doesn't move you forward. It keeps you stuck in the same place year after year, wondering why nothing is changing. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't isn't that one group has bigger dreams. It's that one group actually puts in the work. They take risks, they face challenges, and they keep going even when it gets hard. They don't just sit around thinking about what they want. They make a plan and take the first step. They understand that dreams don't work unless they do. One of the biggest reasons people don't take action is because they expect the journey to be easy. The moment they face resistance, they start doubting whether they should even try. They tell themselves that if it's this hard, maybe it wasn't meant to be. But nothing worth having comes easy. Every successful person has faced obstacles, setbacks, and failures along the way. The difference is they didn't let those things stop them. They understood that struggle is part of the process. Some people never take action because they convince themselves they're not ready. They tell themselves they need more time, more experience, more knowledge. But the truth is you'll never feel fully ready. If you wait until you have everything figured out, you'll be waiting forever. The best way to learn is by doing. The only way to get experience is to start. The people who succeed aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who are willing to start. Fear is another reason people stay stuck in wishing mode. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of looking foolish. But failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every successful person has failed at some point. Every expert was once a beginner. The people who reach their goals aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who keep going after they do. They don't let fear stop them because they understand that failure is just feedback. It's an opportunity to learn, adjust, and come back stronger. The truth is, no one is coming to make your dreams happen for you. No one is going to show up and hand you the perfect opportunity. You have to create it for yourself. You have to be willing to step out of your comfort zone, take risks, and put in the work. You have to make the decision that you're done waiting, done wishing, and ready to take action. Motivation is unreliable. Discipline is key. A lot of people think they need to feel motivated before they can start working toward their goals. They wait for that spark of inspiration, that moment of excitement before they take action. But the problem with motivation is that it comes and goes. Some days you wake up feeling ready to take on the world, and other days you don't even want to get out of bed. If you rely on motivation, you'll never be consistent, and if you're not consistent, you'll never see results. Successful people don't depend on motivation. They don't wait to feel like doing the work. They do it whether they feel like it or not. That's the difference between those who make it and those who don't. The people who succeed understand that discipline is what carries them through when motivation fades. Discipline means showing up every day, putting in the effort, and sticking to your commitments no matter how you feel. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is that discipline is something you're born with. They think some people are just naturally more disciplined than others, but that's not true. Discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed. The more you practice showing up, even when you don't feel like it, the stronger your discipline becomes. It's like a muscle. The more you train it, the easier it gets. The first few times you push yourself to take action without motivation, it's hard, but over time, it becomes second nature. People often look at highly successful individuals and assume they're always motivated. They assume that these people wake up every morning feeling energized, inspired, and eager to work. But the reality is, even the most successful people have days when they don't feel like it. The difference is they don't let their feelings dictate their actions. They've built the habit of doing what needs to be done regardless of their mood. They don't give themselves the option to skip a workout, procrastinate on a project, or take a day off just because they don't feel motivated. The key to building discipline is creating systems that keep you on track. You have to remove the need to make a decision every day about whether or not to take action. If you have to decide each morning whether to go to the gym, you'll find reasons to skip it. But if you make it a non-negotiable part of your routine, there's no decision to be made. You just do it. The less you rely on willpower, the easier it becomes to stay consistent. Discipline is what turns small daily actions into massive results over time. It's what separates the people who achieve their goals from the people who keep making excuses. It's not about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you're committed to in the long run. Small, consistent efforts lead to big results. A lot of people think success comes from one big move, one major breakthrough, or one perfect opportunity. They look at successful individuals and assume they had some defining moment that changed everything. But in reality, success isn't built on big, dramatic actions. It's built on small, daily efforts that add up over time. The people who achieve great things aren't necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They're the ones who show up every day and put in the work, even when it feels like nothing is happening. The reason most people struggle to reach their goals is that they want instant results. They want to go to the gym once and see a six-pack, start a business and become rich overnight, or post a few videos online and go viral immediately. When they don't see quick results, they get frustrated and quit. But success doesn't work that way. It's like planting a seed. You water it every day, but you don't see anything for a while. If you stop watering it because you don't see results, nothing will ever grow. But if you keep showing up even when it seems like nothing is happening, one day you'll see a breakthrough. One of the biggest mistakes people make is underestimating the power of small actions. They think if they can't make massive progress all at once, there's no point in trying. But every little effort counts. Reading 10 pages a day may not seem like much, but over a year, that's 3,650 pages. Enough to read several books. Doing just 10 push-ups a day may seem insignificant, but over time, it builds strength and discipline. Small efforts, repeated consistently, lead to life-changing results. Momentum is built through consistency. When you take small steps every day, you start to build habits. At first, it feels like a struggle, but over time, it becomes second nature. That's why the hardest part is just getting started. Once you establish a habit, it takes less effort to keep going. The key is to commit to something you can sustain. A lot of people burn out because they go too hard too fast. They try to change everything overnight, and when it gets overwhelming, they quit. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about doing something consistently. Every great achievement is the result of many small steps. The problem is most people only see the final result, not the years of effort behind it. They see the athlete winning a championship, but they don't see the early morning workouts and late night practices. They see the entrepreneur running a successful business, but they don't see the years of trial and error. They see the finished product, not the process. That's why it's easy to believe success happens overnight, but the truth is, it's the daily grind that makes the difference. Start messy, but start. Movement creates change. Too many people wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions before they begin. They tell themselves they need more time, more knowledge, or more confidence before they can take action. But waiting for perfection is just another form of procrastination. The truth is, there is no perfect time, there is no perfect plan, there is only now. And the people who succeed are the ones who start before they feel ready. Starting messy means embracing the fact that you won't have it all figured out in the beginning. You might make mistakes, you might feel lost, and you might even fail a few times. But none of that matters as long as you keep moving. Action creates momentum, and momentum is what leads to progress. Sitting still, overthinking, and waiting for everything to be just right only keeps you stuck in the same place. The only way to get better at something is by doing it. You don't learn by thinking about it. You learn by taking action. Most people fear starting because they're afraid of failing. They don't want to look foolish. They don't want to make mistakes. And they don't want to face setbacks. But failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Every successful person has failed at some point. The difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They understood that every mistake is a lesson, every setback is an opportunity to grow, and every wrong turn is a chance to find a better way forward. Starting messy also means letting go of the idea that everything has to be perfect from day one. Perfectionism kills progress because it makes you afraid to take the first step. You don't need the best equipment, the best strategy, or the best circumstances. You just need to start with what you have. Too many people spend months or even years planning, researching, and preparing, but they never actually do anything. They convince themselves they're making progress, but in reality, they're just avoiding the discomfort of starting. The only way to gain real experience is by getting out there and doing the work. Movement creates change. Even small steps forward will lead to opportunities, growth, and progress. When you start taking action, you begin to see what works and what doesn't. You start learning, adjusting, and improving. The more you move, the more doors open for you. But if you stay stuck in the same place, nothing changes. The people who achieve great things in life aren't the ones who had everything figured out from the start. They're the ones who started messy, learned along the way, and kept going even when things didn't go as planned. No one ever became great by waiting for the perfect moment. No one ever changed their life by sitting on the sidelines, hoping for the right opportunity. The only way to make progress is to take action, even when it's uncomfortable, even when you don't feel ready, and even when you don't know exactly what you force yourself to take action daily, no matter what. Too many people let their emotions dictate their actions. They wait until they feel like working, feel like exercising, feel like chasing their goals. But the truth is, if you only take action when you feel like it, you'll never be consistent. And if you're not consistent, you'll never see real results. Success isn't about how you feel in the moment. It's about what you do regardless of how you feel. That's why forcing yourself to take action daily is the key to making progress. There will be days when you're tired, unmotivated, or just not in the mood. Those are the days that separate the successful from the unsuccessful. Anybody can work hard when they're excited. Anybody can put in effort when they're motivated. But the people who truly achieve their goals are the ones who push through even when they don't feel like it. They've trained themselves to take action no matter what's going on in their life. Discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But if you let yourself skip a day just because you don't feel like working, it becomes easier to skip the next day and then the next. Before you know it, weeks have passed and you've lost all your momentum. That's why you have to make taking action a non-negotiable part of your day. It doesn't matter if you're tired. Doesn't matter if you had a long day. It doesn't matter if you're not in the mood. You do it anyway.